What's up, guys? Aces Beam here, and welcome to the sixth episode of the BeamCast, my podcast. The first solo episode in a little while. I'm recording this on the 26th. You guys will be seeing on the 28th or the 29th. More than likely the 28th. We have a few topics lined up. I have 4 written down in front of me right now. I could add in one more, but I'm not sure if I want to touch that really. So, yeah. Before we get started, however, I want to remind you all my socials, my Twitter. I'm not calling it X. Screw that. It's always going to be Twitter. Screw you, Elon. But yeah, my Twitter, Instagram, my Threads account, all of that is in the description. My second channel where I post my music, that's also in the description as well. And we'll actually get into that later in the podcast. The last topic we'll cover is about my music because I have something this Friday. My Discord's in the description as well. And then, of course, you got the homie John and you got the homie Sky down there. Sky is a good friend of mine. You guys know her, Platinum. She has rebranded into Sky the Bunny. So from now on, call her Sky. But yeah, both of them in the description as well. But the first topic is actually a pretty serious topic. So as you guys probably know, my most popular series on my channel was the Yandere Simulator series. Now, I haven't done a video for it in over a year, 2 years at this point, actually. I haven't done a video for it in 2 years. And there's only 6 videos for it. And I was talking about bringing it back. I wanted to do more of it because I like the game. It's a good game, right? A game that takes a long time to, finish, and, a game that was taking a long time to finish and be done and developed and everything, and I really liked the game. I thought it was good. Even with Yandere Dev's previous controversies, he wasn't breaking the law. He had some questionable things, but at the end of the day, to me it wasn't so deplorable to say, oh, screw the game, right? But now he has a new controversy. And from now on, I will not be playing the game. You will not see any videos of it anymore. This one shouldn't... obviously, again, I haven't posted a video on it for 2 years, but 100% confirmed now, the Yandere Simulator series is canceled. I'm not going to delete the old videos. I know there's not much, but I want to keep them there because, one, I'm a small channel. 2, it was my most popular series, and, I'm proud of those videos because it took, that first Yandere Simulator video took me 8 hours to make. I'm proud of those videos. But I will not be playing the game no more. I will not be supporting Yandere Dev. I will not see videos on it. And the reason why is because some allegations have came out where he was having inappropriate conversations with minors, specifically a 16-year-old. And that's just not okay. Again, these are allegations. They can be proven false. But on Yandere Dev's page where you go download the game, he made a post pretty much saying, hey, I was wrong and I shouldn't have done that. He was like, I could sit here and say how the video was presented in, because there's a video going around about this, which is how this all came out. He was like, I could say the video was, presented in a light to paint me out as extra bad. I could say, all these things, right? But that's not what this is about. I'm not about to make excuses. I was wrong. Didn't do that, which... that's somewhat respectable. He's not trying to sit there and make excuses, even if it is presented in a bad light. But I think no matter the context, that's just wrong. It's one thing to talk to a fan that's underage. I think that's fine. But because obviously, underage, they're going to want to talk to, people who are fans and stuff. But even even if there's no type of context that justifies talking inappropriately with a fan that's underage, let alone someone underage in general. I think it's not okay. I am disgusted about that, and I will not be giving someone who has done that or does it a platform to promote his product that he has taken so long to finish anyways. I mean, the game, and if you continue playing the game, don't think you're a bad person. That's fine. If you want to play the game, that's fine. But because you can separate art from artist, but for me, this has always been something I can't separate the art from the artist from. You know what I mean? Like I said, I do think it is a good game. So if you continue playing it, you're not a bad person. Don't necessarily feel bad about it. But me personally, I'm not going to be playing it no more. I will not be talking about it on my channel past this point, past this segment of this podcast episode. I will not be making videos on it because I do not want to support someone who has done something so deplorable like that. It is. And then, and even then, I haven't made a video on it in 2 years anyways. And the reason why is because the game is super difficult and it's not a finished game and it's been in development for 8-9 years, which is fine. Take your time. But, it's just, yeah, it's a good game, but the person who makes it is not a good person. And I will not be giving someone like that a platform on my channel, because that is extremely serious, and my heart goes out to the victim. And yeah, it's not okay. Not okay. No context can justify it. And yeah, hopefully he serves time behind bars, because that's just deplorable, horrible, not okay, and I will not be giving him and his product a platform on my channel from this point forward. That's really all I have to say about that. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of details, just that's all I have to say. No more Yandere Simulator on this channel. I don't really have a segue into the next topic because that's such a serious and sad topic. But the next topic is about college football, so we're going to talk about college football now. I just wanted to get that first topic out the way, because that's so serious. But college football, if you don't, and by the way, for my European audience or outside of American audience, I am American, live in the US of A, call it soccer, deal with it. I'm talking about American football here. As you guys know, the American football, college football has been going on for about 4 or 5 weeks, right? Some teams have played a week 0 game, some teams have not. So, yeah, if you don't know, I am a Michigan Wolverines fan. We are currently ranked 2nd in the nation. I don't know why the dogs are going crazy right now. We are currently ranked 2nd in the nation. And we are 4-0. But I've noticed something interesting, right? So for college football, you can make a case for a lot of teams to be number 1 right now. Georgia's number 1, and for good reason, because they are back-to-back national champions and they are undefeated, right? However, they haven't looked insanely dominant in a lot of their games, right? Hell, against South Carolina, they only beat them by 14 points, 10 points. And yeah, 10 points. They beat them by 10 points, and they were losing 14-3 in the first half. Michigan has looked pretty good throughout, things considered. Has started slow in the first half, but take care of business. Michigan is allowing 31 points. Michigan is scoring 31 points per game and allowing around 5 points per game. So Michigan's looking dominant, but not dominant. Texas, of course, has looked good, but they beat Alabama. which we'll talk about Alabama here in a minute. But Texas also has struggled. In the fourth quarter against Wyoming, of all teams, they were tied 10-10 before they pulled away in the fourth quarter and won 31-10. Ohio State is ranked fourth. First things first, fuck Ohio State. But they do look good, but the thing is they struggled against Indiana, which, sure, that was the first game of the season, but then against Notre Dame, it took till the last play to win the game, and sure, that is a good win. I can't knock that win. That is a good win. In the second quarter, they were getting pushed around till Notre Dame decided to be stupid for the final drive of the game. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to me, you can put Ohio State at first, sure, but I wouldn't. Florida State, honestly, has a good case. Like, again, Georgia, back-to-back national champions, haven't lost. Michigan, has been number two, finished number 2 for 2 years in a row in the rankings. Hasn't lost, is taking care of business. Texas, they beat Alabama, hasn't lost. Ohio State beat Notre Dame and hasn't lost. Florida State has a good claim to it due to not only looking good, but they beat LSU, which is a really good team, and then they also beat Clemson, which, sure, Clemson is unranked. That is a good win. However, the problem is it took till overtime to beat Clemson, and they barely survived by the skin of their teeth against Boston College, which isn't really that good. So they also look like a little bit shaky. Penn State has looked really good, but they have no key mark wins or previous season success to, say, oh yeah, they should be above Michigan. But then, it's about this season, but it's early in this season, so you think about previous seasons, right? Washington has honestly looked like the most dominant team front to finish. Here's my thing with Washington. Washington to me, is playing like the number one team. Like, they have looked dominant start to finish in basically every single game. Right? The one issue for them is they don't have a marquee win on their schedule, under their belt, right? So Washington is interesting to me. If Washington gets a top 10 win and the rest of the teams are still playing the way they're playing, a bit shaky, right? I would put Washington at first, because Washington, I feel like, purely on the eye test and purely on who is playing the best, to me, Washington looks like the scariest team to play. But, again, resume, it's not the strongest. Southern Cal, they've looked good, but their defense has given up a ton of points. They beat Arizona State only by 14 points. And while a couple years ago I was high on Arizona State, I'm not this year. They're going to be a bad team. Oregon has constantly taken care of business, but again, no marquee win. Utah is by far the most disrespected team in college football. They're back-to-back Pac-12 champions, yet a lot of people like me predicted them losing 4-3 games, but they've taken care of business. But then again, against UCLA, which is a good win, they only won by 7, right? 14-7. Notre Dame looks good, but they finally lost. And they probably won't make the playoffs because they don't play in a conference. Alabama, they look bad. They don't look good. I forgot who they played the first week of the season, but they took care of them. There was a lower classification. It was a lower end school. Then they lost to Texas. Kind of just got handled in that game. And then against South Florida, they were going into the fourth quarter of against South Florida. And keep in mind, in the last 2 years, South Florida has only won 2 games against FCS opponents, at least from what I heard, right? South Florida, not a good team. In the fourth quarter, Alabama was tied to them 3-3 and only beat them 17-3. You are Alabama. And you're, I thought that was going to be another Louisiana Monroe. I thought South Florida was probably going to pull it off. It would have been crazy. And then against Ole Miss this week, yeah, they won 24-10 against a ranked opponent, which is their best win this season. But they looked horrible doing it. Like the offense, like their defense looks good, but their offense just can't get anything together. LSU, I think, looks like a great team. If had they not gotten curb stomped by Florida State, they could have a strong case for number one. Oklahoma looks pretty decent. We'll see what they can do. And then, like, the rest of the teams, they look good, but I don't feel like they have a case for, like, number one, at least thus far. Yeah, no, it is insane. Like, like the entire top 10, right? Georgia, Michigan, Texas, Ohio State, Florida State, Penn State, Washington, USC, Oregon, and Utah, honestly, all got a case for being, number one, or at the very least top 5, right? It's just so confusing. Like, when I look at it, like, when I look at Georgia, and then I compare it to Michigan, I'm like, yeah, Michigan could beat them. Texas could beat Georgia. Ohio State could beat Georgia. Florida State could beat Georgia. Penn State could beat Georgia. Washington could beat Georgia. Southern Cal could beat Georgia. Oregon could beat Georgia. And then once I get to Utah, I'm like, okay, Georgia will probably could. I'm pretty set on Georgia. Would I pick all of these teams to beat Georgia? No, not necessarily, because Georgia could also beat all of them. But like, the entire top 9 could beat each other, right? I'm like, okay, Michigan, Texas play. All right, it could go either way. Washington, if they played Florida State, I can't tell you who's going to win that game. Oregon and Washington's going to be one of the most electric games here in the next couple of weeks. Like, it's so confusing because normally by now we have at least, 2 teams that are kind of set, you know what I mean? As like, all right, these are the top 2, you know what I mean? Or like they look like they've pulled away, right, and looked the most dominant, right? But none of these teams really have. Like I said, Washington looks the most dominant from a playing standard, but they also don't have any marquee wins. While Georgia probably, while Florida State probably has the best resume in terms of like the probably 2, like, having 2 great wins compared to some of these having only 1 great win. But at the same time, they also struggled against Boston College, and it took overtime to get one of those good wins. Georgia's number 1, mainly for the simple fact that they're just undefeated and they won back-to-back national championships. They are a great team. Not saying that I got them making the playoffs and everything, but like, any of the top 9, top 10 could just beat each other, right? Like it college football this season is very weird. It's very strange. Alabama's going to lose 2-3 games total. Maybe I could even see 4. Honestly, I mean, like, shoot, we can look at Alabama's schedule here real quick. What was the rest of Alabama gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Let's look, right? Alabama beat Middle Tennessee, lost to Texas, embarrassed themselves in a win against South Florida, and embarrassed themselves in a win against Ole Miss. I can see Mississippi State pulling it off this week, but I'm not gonna take that. Then after that, they have Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Tennessee. I think Texas A&M could beat them. I think Arkansas could beat them, because I think Arkansas is better than advertised. I think Tennessee could beat them. I think LSU could beat them, right? I would say Alabama beats Mississippi State. Texas A&M beats Bama. Bama beats Arkansas. I'm going to take Bama in the Tennessee game. LSU beats Bama. And then Alabama wipes Kentucky, Chattanooga, and Auburn. So I got Bama losing 2 more games to A&M and LSU. And honestly, they could, from Mississippi State all the way down to LSU, their next 5 games, they could easily lose all of them, right? But I don't think they'll do that because it is Alabama, it is Nick Saban. But yeah, they could. I see them with 3 losses by the end of the year, maybe even 4, because that Tennessee game. You know what I'm saying? Like, Alabama just does not look good. Washington State looks really interesting. If Washington State and fucking Washington are undefeated going into the Apple Cup, that's going to be a amazing game. I don't think it's going to happen. Washington State's going to lose a game at some point, but that will be an amazing game, right? And hell, the Pac-12 it's going away next year because so many of those teams are going to like the big, so many of them are going to the Big 12, so many of them are going to the Big 10, and Stanford and Cal are going to the ACC, right? But like this year, like the Pac-12 probably is the best conference in all of football. I mean, let's look at the AP poll here, right? You got all right, you got Washington, Southern Cal, Oregon, and Utah. 4 teams in the top 10. Then after that, you go down a little bit, and then you get Washington State. A couple spots behind that, there's Oregon State, and you got 6 teams from the Pac-12 in the top 10. 6 teams. And I think UCLA still deserves to be ranked. I know they lost and they're only ranked 22nd, but I still think UCLA is a good team. So like the Pac-12 is just loaded this year. The only few teams that I think are genuinely bad within the Pac-12 is Stanford, Cal, Arizona State, and Arizona, and maybe Colorado. I think Colorado's decent, but like, I only see 6 wins for them this year at most. But yeah, I think Arizona State, Cal, and Stanford are like the bad teams, and even then Arizona's just okay. You know what I mean? So like the Pac-12 is really strong this year. It's insane, and they're going bye-bye next year, which is kind of funny. Yeah, no, college football is very interesting this year. I'm not going to talk about the NFL in this podcast. I can save that for October when we're a bit deeper in the season. But yeah, it is indeed interesting to think about. But another thing that I do really enjoy is anime. And as you guys know, my video before this one was the Komi Can't Communicate anime review. I do know I spent more time on the characters than anything, but that anime is very character driven. But a lot of people, again, a lot of animes are very character driven. So I do wish I could have done better on that, right? Like talk about the animation style, art style, like I did for the Yusuke no Sora anime review a couple of years ago. More anime reviews will be on the way. I have to record the anime review for Girlfriend. I'm not going to do one for I'm not going to do one for Real Life. I do really enjoy Real Life, but I'm not doing one for Real Life because I'm not about to do an anime review for every anime that I watched, right? Then on top of that, I have to finish Wonder Egg Priority, do a Wonder Egg Priority review. But anime reviews, they're back. There will be more. I do like making those type of videos. It will be a series that I will try to keep up on with. It's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. I love anime, as you guys know. It's just great. You know what I'm saying? It's great. Let's see. Another thing is, I've already talked about like my favorite animes and stuff like that. Maybe I should make a top 10 anime video. That would be interesting. The animes that I'm currently watching right now is Naruto Shippuden. I still have to finish Naruto. I'm watching Shimonetta. If you know, you know. And Wonder Egg Priority. And the one I have on hold is Squid Girl. And then I have so many that I plan to watch. It's not even funny. It's crazy. But, I'm getting back into anime and stuff like that. So, do expect more anime reviews to be on the way. Content, man. Content. I like making content. I just love making content, man. Anyways, obviously that is the third topic right there, and that's a short one. That is a short one. So I'm gonna interject. We'll have 5 to 6 topics. I'm gonna interject a couple that I don't have written down. first off, about my life, I'm looking for work, not working for. I'm looking for work. Um, Still haven't gotten a job. Still trying to get a job so I can get more, so I can make money. Visit the homie W.A.I.T that lives in Pennsylvania. Um, you know, and reinvest into YouTube music and stuff like that. I've applied to a few places. And haven't gotten word back. I've reached out to check in on the application and all that type of stuff. But hopefully I'll get a job here soon, start making some money so I can do what I need to do and all of that. Life be life, and man, I'm happy I graduated. Now we're on to some adult life things, some real life things, and it's interesting that way, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, life be life, and again, trying to get a job and all of that. And then do I want to talk about this? I'm not gonna talk about this because I don't really feel like talking about it now, as I do not want to get my words misconstrued. But and I've talked about it at large on Twitter anyways, so it's fine. So I'm not gonna talk about that. Yeah. But yeah, life be life. And is there anything else I want to cover before I get into this final topic here real quick? No, not really. So we'll get into this final topic. The reason, again, I'm promoting my music. Again, in the link description, my second channel, where my music is, there. This Friday, I am dropping a mixtape. Behind the Mask Mixtape, Volume 3, Shredded Mask. It has 13 tracks. I will appreciate if you guys check it out. The track list is, the first song is called Miss You. The second one is called Behind the Mask / Shredded Mask. The third song is called If Words Drew Blood. The fourth track is remix of this song called Sober. The original song is by an artist that I really like called Josh.A. The fifth song is called The Silence is Very Loud. The sixth song is called Manifest Freestyle. The seventh track is an interlude called Addict. The eighth song is called Turnt, featuring the homie FTR, which was the guest on the last podcast. The ninth song is called If I Died, Would You Care at All? The 10th song is called Golden God Remix. It is a remix of a Machine Gun Kelly song. 11 is called Teflon Freestyle, featuring KeshawnCage. The 12th song is called Danilly to Queens, featuring NoAux. This is a remix of my song Danilly. And the 13th song is called Are the Roses Wilting. I hope you guys are really, will check it out. It's an interesting project because I have some new things in here, right? Some new styles, some of the newer styles I have been doing. Some stuff that is just straight up new for me, or a new interpretation of what I've done. But it's also, some of it's also me revisiting my roots with like my NF inspired sound and stuff like that, but with my skills of today. I feel like people are either gonna really not like it or do really like it. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but I feel like it's gonna kind of be a divisive project amongst people who do hear it. I, of course, enjoy it. I think it's a good project. I do hope you guys will enjoy it once it comes out this Friday. It's simply a good project, and I do hope you guys enjoy it. It has some sad songs, it has some hard songs. 2 of the songs are already out because they were singles for it. Turn is out, and Manifest Freestyle is out. You can go find them on the music channel. Again, link in the description. But the rest of it comes out Friday. So, yeah, I do hope you guys will enjoy the mixtape because Yeah, I did put a lot of work into it. Um, my favorite songs off of it, and there's quite a few because there's varying like vibes and stuff, right? Like the Nilly to Queens, that's a drill song, right? If I Died Would You Care at All, that's more of an emo rap song. The Silence Is Very Loud, it's also a sad song, but like in a different way. It's not necessarily emo rap in terms of the sound, you know what I mean? So it's very interesting, and I think it is definitely worthy of being the third addition to the Behind the Mask series. And I do, guys, hope you will enjoy it once it comes out. You know, it's just it's good fun. I like making music. It's fun. It's therapeutic. You guys all know this. Um, so yeah, do check it out. Do share it around and all of that. Um, and the last topic I'll cover is why I've done so many guests. Well, ever since I started the podcast, a lot of people have wanted to get on it. Keshawn wanted to get on it. Um, me and homie John had already agreed to do one, and then the homie Wyatt / FDR wanted to get on. So that's why I decided to do a solo one for this one, and we'll probably do a solo one for October as well. I do know this is a very short episode, but there just wasn't too much to go insanely in depth to talk about. Just a few stuff that I did want to talk about, and that topic I did avoid. I'll probably talk about in a podcast another time, but not this episode. I don't because that one would be a super long segment, and it is more something to do with a podcast, almost an entire podcast centered around that idea. So, well, not necessarily idea, but like discussion and topic. So that is this podcast episode. Do share around the BeamCast. Share this around to everybody. Subscribe, leave a like, all that mumbo jumbo. Do hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of the BeamCast in October. See you guys in the next one. Peace.